One of the ranger vets looked at me and I just about surrendered.
Something I can do for you? I'm usually good with faces, but I don't think I've seen you here before. What brings you to Camp McCarran? You don't cook by any chance, do you? Farber's doing his best, but it's... Honestly, we're fighting a lot of fires right now. The fiends keep pressing their position from Vault 3. We've got the Legion breathing down our necks across... As in chem fiends. Biggest gang of raiders I've ever seen. Nothing like addiction to... They set up shop in Vault 3 to the west. Every day there's more of them and less of us. I sent one of my rangers after their leader to try and destabilize. Hell of a thing, losing a ranger. You come to depend on them, and they come through for you so... That vault is a hornet's nest. If you have second thoughts, no one would think less of you for it. Watch for civilians, too. The fiends have been kidnapping locals. But the man you're looking for is Bryce Anders. Anders was trying to find... You hear something like a chainsaw? You've found Motor Runner. Put a bullet in his head, and you'll have some new friends around here. Yeah. On top of everything else, I can't send a patrol on a bathroom break without it being ambushed, so somebody's getting the word out. Calm is what you have to be when people look to you, and it's all you can be when things are out of your hands. Could be better, I'll say that much. We set up here with our sights set on annexing New Vegas. If anything, they annexed us. They rake in the profits from our soldiers, and we're stuck protecting them from the Legion. Now we're trying to secure the Strip and the dam at the same time, and it's costing us. And in the meantime, General Oliver won't approve it, so we're in a holding pattern here. I have Lieutenant Boyd on that already, and she's excellent, but I think she's hit a wall. Talk to her if you like. See if she has any use for... Her office is right above mine, but I think she might be interrogating right now. So she'd be upstairs on the... Well, why not? Given your recent arrival, at least I can safely rule you out as the leak. I'd like to have absolute trust in my men, but that's just not practical right now. We don't have much to go on right now. Lately, every raiding party in New Vegas seems to have a map of our... It derails everything. Supplies, reinforcements. Captain Curtis is heading up the investigation right now. He can fill you in. It's our main base. We took it because it lets us keep an eye on the Strip. From here, we handle most of the logistics for our opera. Usually, General Oliver runs the show here. Unfortunately, no. In fact, the word from the ranger stations has been especially concerning lately. It sounds like they've run into overwhelming resistance, and supplies just aren't reaching them. It's been so bad, I asked Sergeant Reyes at Camp Forlorn Hope to look into it. Everything was going according to President Campbell's plan at first. We met minor resistance from local troublemakers, but our two main objectives are still contested. And we're holding Hoover Dam, but Caesar's Legion... Bye.
A little busy at the moment, but I can talk. This? The OSI lab. We don't get many visitors. The smell puts people off, I think. Nobody ever said science would smell clean and fresh. Anyway, you get used to it if you give it some time. I know I don't sound the part. Get raised by Brahmin ranchers and you never lose the twang. But I know every inch of the power grid from Hoover Dam to Shady Sands. Some of the others are working on an agricultural project, but... Head researcher. Mostly on the dam project. You mean give you work? No, that'd be... Between you and me, I don't think he ever leaves. Plenty of mercs go into... I can't say. We're not supposed to talk about the... Nice to meet you. If you need anything, I'm... A little busy at the moment, but I can talk. You mean... Between... Nice to meet you. If you need anything...
A pleasure to meet you. I'm Dr. Thomas Hildern, Director of Operations. No, they wouldn't have briefed you, would they? Probably better that our junior... Vault 22. Imagine, if you will, the wasteland in bloom. Vast orchards of trees, their branches weighed halfway to the ground, hung with fat, ripe oranges. And all this, requires... A realist. We have that in common. A year ago, I'd have said the same. But what if I was to tell you that the wasteland can yield an endless... We need only reach out and take it, and for that, I need you. Isn't it? One directs one's efforts, or the efforts of others, toward a goal, and progress is made. I believe that the inhabitants of Vault 22 unlock the secrets of vegetative growth. Plants are spilling from their gate. No one tends them. No one waters them. Find the reason for this miraculous growth, and I promise you... Good. No need to check in with the NCR authorities. I can authorize... Vaults typically contain a server room on a lower level, where they would have backed up their... Download all the information on the central server to your Pip-Boy, and you'll be certain to bring me any notes or... I thought it was a fairly straightforward assignment. It's a simple question of retrieving the data, which shouldn't prove overly challenging. Downloading the data will be handled by your Pip-Boy. You might think of yourself as a mere means of conveyance. Oh? What might those be? The Office of Science and Industry. Suffice to say, we are the leading edge of the NC. The dam, for instance. OSI routes its energy supply to our city. Director of the entire OSI? Me? No. I direct our eastern operations. I'm also confronting the problem of food production in... Yes, with the assistance of my team, of course. Not yet, but our government understands the value of proactive thought. Our studies project an imbalance between production or, for a layman such as yourself, not enough food, too many mouths to feed. We aid some programs the Republic has sponsored involving sharecropper farms in the area. But those haven't panned out too well from what I hear. Directly? No. But we attempt to maximize its output. You have no idea how difficult it is. I also have high hopes for our Helios 1 facility. Unfortunately, so far they've only managed to achieve 1% power output. To be frank, I have no idea. I leave the fighting to Colonel Shu, and too many people have opinions on things they know nothing about. Yes, goodbye.
Did Dr. Hildern... This really isn't any of my business. I shouldn't say anything. I know that. But you're not the first. There were a lot of mercs, one after another. Then about a week ago, there was a scientist, Keeley. And he didn't mention her? Not even her name? But now he's hired you, which means one of two things. Listen, I make a fair wage, but I'm not rich, not by any means. But I'm willing to pay you if you'll find Keeley and make sure she's safe. I had a good feeling about you, moment you walked in. I mean it. Of course. Keeley's brilliant, an absolute genius. She plays at being mean, but it's all a front. When you've lived as long as she has, you get defensive around new people. I couldn't get her to say, But she talked about the war. So I'm guessing pretty old. 200 years? Like a Brahmin and a Deathclaw, though I'm not sure which would be which. Bad analogy, maybe. They're both Deathclaws in their way. Keeley hates Hildern. She says he's more politician than scientist. And Hildern hates Keeley because... well, because every time they... Head researcher. Mostly on the dam project, but I help out on other things when they need me. Gotta be flexible. The director? He's... very well-spoken, and... he's not what you'd call warm, unless he wants something from you. And even then, it's kind of a cold warm. Most of the time, I focus on the science and try to forget him. He doesn't get mixed up in any actual work, though he tells people that he does. He sure does. Everyone knows it. I've just got to endure this job and... but abandoning Keeley, he crossed a line. If Hildern tries to recruit any more mercs, I'm gonna warn them. My father used to say good things about them, but that was years ago. Nowadays, they've changed. They're doing what they can to do. Dr. Hildern trained with them years ago. Not me, though. I'm an OSI girl. It's foul to tell the truth. Most people try to get what they can from the outside. Contreras is a genius. He can find almost anything you'd want. Takes caps to... Right. Stay safe.
Boyd's in there with a prisoner right now. Boy, is she pissed.
You stick out like a sore thumb around here. You sure you're in the right place? Not big on reading name tags, huh? It's Boyd. Lieutenant Boyd to my friends. Colonel Shu has me handled. I've told him he could make my job a whole lot easier if he would just... Yeah, so far this has gone exactly as expected. Poorly. We captured an honest-to-God Centurion. Better believe it. Everybody in Caesar's Legion, from Caesar on down. They're so twitchy they'd probably do it if you reached out to hug them. But here's this guy, who's an elite commander in their army, and he just gives himself up. Even as his men... Well, I don't know about you, but to me that sounds like a man who's willing to cooperate. Only times he speaks up are to insult you. He's a real prick. I like the way you think. Problem is that the NCR frowns on using that sort of But here's my favorite thing about you. You're not in the NCR. Plus, for all this guy knows, you're completely insane. That's a winning combination. I think if you rough him up enough, and really put some fear into him, he'll sing like a choir boy. So let's do this. When you're ready, I'll go in and give you a little intro. Then I leave the room. We go back and forth a couple times until either he talks or he... Ah, tear my heart out, why don't you? People lose their heads and say things they regret. Plenty of ways to skin a cat, as they say. That's the spirit. Okay, I'll go in and have a word with him. Then I'll call you in. Long time no see, Celus.
Lieutenant. I was just thinking about you.
That's so.